call in like all your backup plans, plan B, plan C, like anything you can do to get you out of that reading slump.
Come out, Virginia, what you waiting for? What you waiting for? What you waiting for? Got your ball gown on and you lock the door, and you lock the door, and you lock the door.
Hello everyone, my name is Andrew. If you do not know me, you should go ahead and subscribe, stick around, like, comment, all of that. But today I'm going to be doing a video on books to get you out of a reading slump. First of all, I feel like we've all been going through a collective readers reading slump because I've definitely felt a little slumpy too the past couple months. I have been reading a lot, but there's just some books that have not been hitting the spot, which is like what I think causes a lot of book slumps. So I have hopefully a cure for that, hopefully some book recs that will help you or some tips that will help you. First, I want to say that there is a way I think that you can get out of a book slump, which is not me physically giving you actual book recs, but more so you using your own self-reflection and figuring out what will get you out of a reading slump. So the first thing I would say to figure this out, to go about doing this, is to read from an author that you absolutely love, that you know that you will want to read and that you will love their work. So for me, if I was going to do this to get out of a reading slump, I love Pierce Brown. We know this. He wrote Red Rising. Need I say more? But I have not read all the books that he has ever written. So if I was going to try to get out of a reading slump, I would definitely pick up one of Pierce Brown's books because I love him so much and I know I like his writing style. One of those would be Iron Gold because I've read the original 3 in the Red Rising trilogy, but I've never read this one, so this would be something that I would do to get out of a reading slump. Something else I would mention to get out of a reading slump is if there is a book that has been on your TBR for ages, like for so long that you've just had, that you've hyped up in your head, that you know you really want to read, that other people have hyped, you've seen it everywhere, you want to get to it, read it. Like, I know sometimes I say books, I'm like, now's not the moment. I think I'm gonna put it off. I think maybe there will be another moment in time where it is the time for the book. Well, if you're in a slump, call in like all your backup plans, plan B, plan C, like anything you can do to get you out of that reading slump, and that is gonna be a book that you've been hyping for so long. Something that I would read to get myself out of the situation if I was gonna do this would be to read Iron Widow by Ziran J. Zhao. I've had this on my TBR for a while now. I've been wanting to read it so bad. It's an adult fantasy, I believe, and I cannot wait to get to it. It might even be sci-fi, I don't know, but this one just sits on my shelf and I want to read it so bad, and I know when I read it I'm gonna hopefully love it because I've been seeing so many like glowing reviews from people I trust. So that's something I would do for this. Another quick tip I would mention is to read a short story, read a novella, read something that is gonna be quick that you can get to put on your Goodreads, something that'll make you feel better, make you feel like you're actually reading, so that you can get out of the book slump because you're reading something. A couple books that I would read to get out of this, one of them would be All the Stories Are True by Cassandra Clare, illustrated by Cassandra Jean. Oh my god, guys, I've been at work all day. I'm like, this light is hot. I'm kind of dying here, but anyway. This is a classics reimagined in the world of Shadowhunters. So this one is definitely not a full-on book. It is more so pictures. It is like a picture book, an adult picture book if you would say, but it has little short quotes or stories going along with each image, and it's something short, but I would definitely count this on my Goodreads because it's a book, and what do we count on Goodreads? Books. Another one I would read for this is How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. This one is again a novella kind of short story bind up of small stories about Cardan throughout his ages, throughout him growing up in Fairy. Cardan is from The Cruel Prince, if you don't know, by Holly Black. So this is something that's kind of a companion novel, kind of a collector's item, something that you would read if you really like a series. So something like that for anything that you might like would also be a good option to get you out of a slump. Alright, now we can move on to the actual books I have to show you guys that I would recommend to get out of a reading slump that I just enjoyed or think that are quick reads or whatever. So let's get into it. I was like eating my hair for a second. So I have a bit of a mix here. If you don't read one of these genres or anything, you might find another one that you like. So I have some young adult fantasy, young adult contemporary, and adult romance. So let's get into these books. First off, I would like to recommend Blade of Secrets by Trisha Levenseller. This is a young adult fantasy. It's a tiny fantasy. It's not that long. It does have a sequel, but it is not out yet, so it's the perfect book to read right now. It's kind of like reading a standalone because you can't get the second one anyway. Trisha Levenseller has written some young adult fantasies in standalone, so she's very good at condensing and like concising her words and her stories and her world building. Definitely the world building. You don't get like too much over the top. You just kind of fall into the story and you're eased into it and you just kind of absorb everything. I really love Trisha Levenseller. I definitely recommend her just for enjoyment as well, any of her other books. But this one in particular is about a girl who forges weapons and she forges magic into them. She is wanted by a lot whenever her talents get put out into the world, and when one person wants to use her abilities for bad, she is forced to flee and be on the run to get away from that. She is with a couple people that are the side characters that help her along the journey that make the story really interesting, and there's some twists, there's a lot of magic and all that stuff. It's so good, so I would definitely recommend this if you haven't read it and you want to try to get out of a slump. Here you go. Moving on to a young adult contemporary that I would recommend is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. If you've read The Hate U Give and you haven't read Concrete Rose, what are you doing? You should definitely check this one out. But Concrete Rose follows the main character in The Hate U Give's father when he was younger. So in this one, we are reading about Maverick Carter, who gets involved with some drug lords and ends up selling drugs. And he's doing this all because he has a baby on the way. He feels like this is his only choice. And in this one, we're just going through the struggles of Maverick's young life as he's trying to do what he thinks he has to do to get by and provide for his family. So I really love young adult contemporaries like this when they focus on something that is so real, that can actually happen to people, that does happen to people, and maybe it's something that not a lot of authors write about. You won't see it in a lot of other books, but whenever you can find it, those are like the hidden gems that you just have to read. And I definitely like this one. Angie Thomas is a phenomenal writer as well. Like, her word choice and everything is really easy to get into, and I think she is really talented, so definitely check out Concrete Rose if you haven't. You don't even have to have read The Hate U Give. You can also just read this one because it does take place before, so you wouldn't be spoiled at all. I do have one more young adult contemporary to recommend to you guys. That one is This Will Be Funny Someday by Katie Henry. I love Katie Henry. I can't recommend her enough. This book follows a young girl who is in high school. She struggles a lot with feeling like she's not being heard by anyone. This book also dives into a couple different things. So the main character, she's only 16, but she does find herself in a stand-up comedy club where for the first time she feels like her voice is heard. She also meets a group of college students who kind of take her in. They think she's in college too because she kind of lies to them, and that aspect of the book was really cool. You get to see not only a young adult teenage life, you get to see the early college life too with those friends that she has. And in this book there is the trigger warning, or maybe trope, I don't know, of a abusive relationship, so that's something to be wary of too. But it is something I think that was handled so well by Katie Henry, and Katie Henry just always dives into these really niche little things that she handles throughout the book that I feel like just is a moment of like healing. I don't know, I think she does it really well to where you understand whatever topic it is a little bit more. So that's really cool about this book. I would definitely recommend it. It's a very quick read. As you can see, I loved it so much I even tabbed it a lot. It's just one book that I definitely would recommend, and I will go back to it over and over because I really did love this one. Okay, moving on to adult romance, I would definitely recommend The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I love this book so much. I've raved about it. It's just honestly so good. I know a lot of people kind of think that it is overhyped, and maybe it is, but for some reason it really hit me and I really just love it. I know it started out as a fan fiction, which is kind of funny, but I did read some of the original fan fiction and I realized that they did actually take a lot of that out and make it more into a actual book and not so fan fiction-y. So if you're worried about that, it really doesn't read like just a fan fiction. It actually reads like a normal romance, and I really liked it. So this one does have the fake dating trope and everything like that. You've probably heard of it, but it's really good. If you don't want to read this one, I also recently read The Spanish Love Deception on audiobook on Scribd. I don't have the physical copy, but I love that one too. That was a good adult romance, so there's always options. I did also read All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover, which was pretty good. So there's a lot of options for adult romance out there, and I think they are quick reads that will definitely get you out of a reading slump because they go by so fast. Like, you have no choice but to read and keep reading and then you're done. So there's that. Alright, saving the best for last. I'm kidding. But I have an adult contemporary to recommend, and that is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. Of course, I'm not going to shut up about this book. I promise you that. All My Rage is kind of one of those that I don't know if it's young adult or adult, but I would say it's adult because of the themes in the book, and it does have a POV of an adult character, even though the other two are teens. So however you want to take that. I don't know what genre it actually falls into. I do know it's blurbed by Jodi Picoult, who is an adult fiction writer, so I'm gonna assume it falls into the adult category. All My Rage dives into 3 characters who are all going through some tough shit in their lives, but we're seeing them trying to keep going, trying to move forward, trying to get out of the bad situations that they're in. Yes, they fall, we watch them get hurt, we watch them sometimes feel like they're at rock bottom and lose, but overall I think it's a book of hope and joy, and it's so beautiful. It's heartwarming, it's hard-hitting, it's kind of everything you would want in adult contemporary, so I would definitely check it out if you haven't yet. Please pick it up, it is so good. I do have a review on it if you want to check that out. The beginning is non-spoiler, so you can see more of my thoughts, more of exactly what it's about in that video. But yeah, All My Rage is definitely one book that I swear you do not want to miss. Like, it's so good. Those are just some quick books that I pulled off my shelf that I think anybody could enjoy and get into to get you out of a reading slump. So I hope you guys can take away at least one book from here that you haven't read, haven't heard about, and maybe want to read. But if you ever want me to do a part 2 to this, I will definitely try to make some more books that I think anyone will like to get out of a reading slump. As I read more books and have to share with you guys, I'll definitely update you if I find any more. But that's pretty much all I have to say. Comment down below a book that helped you get out of a reading slump so we can kind of all help each other in the comments. If you have any that you have read that you think would be good, let us know down below. You can also check out my social media down below. I have my Instagram, my Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff down below. Have a couple ways you can help support the channel. I have my Ko-fi, my Amazon wishlist if you want to send me a book, and all that fun stuff down below, like I said. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!